Good morning. So this is something that was laid on my heart, so we're going to give it a try and see how it goes. I'm one of those people, I don't necessarily believe in perfection. I believe in precision, and in this capacity I believe that the message is more important than me ensuring that the medium is perfect. So this is the first video. You're going to probably notice a lot of different problems and nuances and things that I should do better, and those things I'm sure I will work on. But like I said, this is the first one, and it's more important for me to get started than it is to make sure it's perfect, because I am a huge procrastinator, and because I can identify that about myself, I actively work to minimize the opportunities for me to procrastinate. So here we go. So we're going to start a little thing. It's called Car Chronicles with Cabrina, and so it's KKK. If you know me personally, you know that I like to take the negative things that the world has given us, and I like to turn it into something good, because there's power in everything that we do, good, bad, and indifferent. And if we take the power from the negative and give it back to the good, then the things that are already common practice to us, we've just revolutionized them. And so now we're thinking back on the good side of things, right? So today's topic: what do you want? This is loaded, but it's cool, right? So I've asked a few people, what do you want? Oh, let me get to some safety things. Just so you know, yes, I am driving. I'm also hands-free, so I'm not holding the phone. Dad, I'm not holding the phone, because my dad will surely watch this video, because he supports everything that I do, and I love you so much for that. But it's on the little cell phone holder thing, so we're completely safe. I'm paying attention to traffic, so if you don't see me looking at you, that is why. It's because I'm on my morning commute to work, and so we're safe. I'm paying attention to the road. I'm just talking out loud. This is where I do my best thinking, is in the car, usually on my way to work or from work. And so I'm gonna start carrying you guys along with me, so that hopefully some of the things that I think about, some of the things that have been revolutionized in my mind, I can share them with the world, and we can help start a trend of empowering people through positivity, versus a lot of the other methods that we use. Back on cue. What do you want? So I talked to some people close to me, a couple of people actually, and I asked them what they want in specific situations. Their answers, however, were more inclusive and actually focused on, or focused towards, what the other person wanted. I'm going to give you an example, but I'm going to use my personal life, because I'm not putting anybody's business out. We just don't do that. So I have two toddlers. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I have a 2-year-old son. And their father and I have not always had the best relationship. We've been pretty toxic and tumultuous, actually, for quite a while. And we broke up in 2019, and we didn't get back together until 2020, the end of 2020. So almost, give or take, almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. And so during my period of singleness, or aloneness, or loneliness, whatever you want to call it, during that period, I had to ask myself a lot of hard questions. And so that's where the change mindset really started taking root, but it's been growing since then. But I had to identify what I wanted. Now, a lot of you guys don't know me. I grew up in a 2-parent household with my biological father and my biological mother. My parents did end up divorcing later into my high school, towards college years, but I grew up in a 2-parent household. And so for me, when I had kids, I knew that it was significant for my kids to grow up in a 2-parent household. That's just always something that I've wanted, because I understand the significance. I don't think any of my friends grew up in a 2-parent house. Well, I take that back. Most of my friends grew up in a single-parent household, but I did have just a few sprinkled in that grew up with 2 parents. And don't get me wrong, we came with our issues too. But I also understand a lot of the statistics surrounding single motherhood, single parenthood, and a lot of these different things. And I don't trust fully very well. And so the whole notion of getting my kids a stepdad, it's not my first case scenario, right? So if I had to choose that path, I would. But that's not what I want. So what I want is for my nuclear family unit to be together. I want to be together with my children's father, and for us to raise our children in the same household. That's what I want. I can identify that that's what I want, okay? Now that's significant, because notice I expounded on what I want. That didn't mean anything about what he wants. What he wants is not the question. What will happen or what the future holds, that's not the question. The question is very simple, yet a lot of us have a complicated time answering. What do you want? I want my nuclear family unit to be intact, to be able to raise my children with both of their biological parents under the same roof, showing love to each other, giving love to each other, teaching our children what true love looks like through good times, through bad times, through indifferent times. I want my children to have that. That's what I want. Now, he and I are back together. And we're doing very well, actually. We've learned how to communicate on a whole nother level. Like, it's actually crazy, but we're doing very well. But that doesn't mean that the future says we're going to be together, because that's what I want. Because that's what I want today. What if what I want tomorrow changes? Or he says that he wants us to be together today, but what if what he wants tomorrow changes? The point is, you have to be able to identify what you want, because that's what you can control. But you can't control all the other things around you. But what I found is that if you identify what you want, now you have a target or a goal to reach. So if I would have said, I don't know what I want, how can God say, oh, well, let me put their family back together? How does that work? There's no goal. And so you can tell me what you don't want. Like, a lot of people say, well, I don't want a man that's going to cheat. I don't want a man that's going to do this. But I need you to understand something. It's cute that you know what you don't want. And I respect that. But knowing what you don't want is not the equivalence of knowing what you do want, right? So we have to get to the point where we know ourselves well enough that we can easily answer, what do I want in specific situations? And understand, it may not be universal. And it may not hold true for you for the rest of your life. There will be different things that come up, and it may change what you want, and that is okay. The thing is, you have to be able to identify that answer. Because we're out here looking for love in all the wrong places. Cue the music. But we don't really know what we're looking for, because we haven't sat down long enough to understand what we want. We just go with things. We react to things. We're not necessarily proactive. And then when life gets ugly or when life gets bad, we're able to blame it on other people, rightly so. But the reality is, it starts with you. So you ultimately have to take accountability for that. Because responsibility and accountability are two very different things. And so you have to hold yourself accountable, because you didn't do the groundwork. You never identify what you want. And so my closing, I guess, to this is to encourage you to sit down with yourself, because you are a beautiful, absolutely phenomenal being. Everything about you is beautiful. Even that toxic trait that you just thought of right there, it's beautiful because it's still part of your essence. And you have to learn to love yourself exactly where you are. We can grow and we can change and we can develop and we can become, but that doesn't mean that the version of you before all of those things, it doesn't mean that it was a lesser version. It just was different. And different isn't good or bad, it's just different. You are a beautiful being. Before you sit down and get to know the next person, I encourage you, I beg of you, sit down and get to know you. And start with, for me, it's writing, right? So for me, I get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and at the very top I would write, what do I want, in big letters. And whatever comes to mind, just write it down. It doesn't have to make sense. It does not have to. What was the rules of brainstorming they taught us in school? It doesn't have to make sense. What it's doing is it's taking a mental space. So you need to get it out so that you can get to the depths of what you really want. But we got to start shooting off the stuff that's on the surface. Just let it go. It's okay. Just write it out, or list it out, or sing it out, or write a poem, whatever it is that allows you to remove it from your mental space. Get that stuff out that's on the surface, and you're going to start going deeper and deeper and deeper. Before you know it, you'll be 20,000 leagues under the sea, and you'll be able to easily answer, what